Okay, so here we go. I am at Walmart, York Commons, Dayton, Ohio. And by the way, I want you to know that I have come to the conclusion that I could live at Dayton, Ohio the rest of my life. But Dayton, Ohio, I need a beautiful house in a beautiful location, a brand new car, my own finances, and I need to play venues with a full-blown band in order to be happy, fulfilled, content, and I would like to, most likely fully transition, if that's okay with you. I would like to experience this in my lifetime. Why is that? I'll explain to you sometime. But that little air freshener hanging between my legs, that's what I call it, air freshener. It has created more problems than you can ever imagine. And can I say that in the relationships in my future, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to keep telling you, I want to keep sex out of it. If we don't have things in common, that's what I've realized. It took me forever to realize this. If we don't have things in common, most likely I don't want to have sex with you. First, we have a lot of commonality. We get to laugh, we get to have fun. You show me, I show you. Sometimes it can be difficult, right? You're very attractive. You are very attractive. You know, that look in your eyes, that sense of humor drives me wild. The intelligence, the words that are flowing through your lips. It makes me want to just rip off your clothing and jump on top of you right here, right now. However, what I'm realizing is that's temporary gratification that I do not need anymore. I want to give myself to somebody very special. And a lot of people will tell you, well, that can't happen, that will never happen, that's wishful thinking on your behalf. And I say, I know that there's somebody who would want me specifically all to their self. I've always known that. It's just that I haven't been taught how to hone that individual in. It might be a boy, it might be a girl, it might be him. Most likely not, but you never know what God is in him up here. We might be surprised. Okay, we're gonna go through this very fast. I love to talk about just anything. I don't want to upset people when I speak, but I'm trying to heal and get this stuff out because I've realized that I really was convinced that the people who take leadership positions really could lead us. And what I realized is the only leader, true leader that we have is God. That's why you need the Holy Bible. Don't let them take the Holy Bible out of the libraries in school. If they're out of school, you tell your schools, you protest. Protest and get the Bibles back in school. What the problem is you need God. You don't realize how much you need God. You need the Bible in your life. Let me tell you something. I'm realizing now that I am grateful that I invested years of research. Exactly, to be honest with you, it was approximately 12 years. 12 years of research. I studied books on power of the mind, positive thinking, okay? A book of numbers, understanding, reading many versions of the Bible, like 3 versions of the Bible, studying them continuously. Listening to other speakers, many speakers, by the way. And now let me tell you something, there's nothing that makes me feel more at peace than worshiping with other people who love to worship. And I believed for a long time that God was calling me into a worship leading position. And if you listen to my life story, you will find out that since the age of 5, when my grandmother was trying to get me to lead worship, and I did, and I was scared. In front of 15 people. If that. It was a small family, really, but it was some of the most memorable times of my life. Okay? So here's the thing, check this out. Transitional existences, that's what we are. And one word coming into our mind could shift a lot of things. Always guard your heart, is what God says, and that means the truth of who you are. Once you find your truth and you're completely honest, and that's the details of who you are. Your body language, everything. And do you know who and what is the best way to lead you to it? Jesus Christ, only the way that I explain it. Unless people were invading my privacy and giving away my secrets that I have learned, then know this: the only way to having a fulfilled life is in Jesus Christ. And I know you don't want to hear that, right? There's a lot of you who do not want to hear that. But let me tell you, a lot of times what I'm realizing is, if I did not come to some of the most challenging circumstances for me, then I might not be telling you that same message. I may be telling you it's a bunch of bull. Well, guess what? If you're saying that's a bunch of bull, Tracilyn, I love you, and I know that there's Christ in you, and the reason that that is, in my opinion, is because without Christ, nothing would be alive. God is all about life. So for all the living, Christ is already there. And I could get into a subject about Christ and my opinion on Christ, that I am convinced if I would share with you my opinion on Christ, that you would start to understand a different perspective. You would start to receive another perspective that maybe, if what Tracilyn is saying, let's try this out. Maybe a speaker needs to speak for once that encourages people. Try this teaching out. Try to apply it in your life, and then write me. Write it or make a video tutorial in response to what I say. Remember, in the beginning of YouTube, it used to be a lot cooler, they say. You used to be able to post videos, and then when somebody posts videos, other people could reply with posted videos. Well, thank you, YouTube, because what I've realized even since I've been on YouTube is they make things between Facebook and YouTube and other social networks, they make things more complicated in our communications with one another. And I can touch base with all the details of that too. Okay? Don't always believe in the numbers you see on the view counts, okay? There's only 300 and some million people in America. How many people listen to that recording artist song that most people that I've talked to with that video, you know the video, I don't. I don't even know the name of the song, but you do. Has 2 billion hits, 3 billion hits. Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Recording Artist or Mrs. Recording Artist, and people who are investing in that. Know this, there's only 300 and some million people in America. That's not including abroad in the country. The odds of everybody watching that X amount of times, not. If I were to go over here, you know how you test this? When you see a couple billion hits on a song, walk over to people and ask them if they heard this song and just start singing the chorus line. Make a video camera. Take your video camera, walk around and say, hey, remember that YouTube video that got 2 billion hits? And then start singing the song, and the person will look at you, what? Get out of here. No, literally, get away from me. Because there's a good chance they didn't even hear it. They didn't hear it. That's how you test things. You got to do it mathematically. Remember what we went to school for? Break down the mathematical system and realize 300 and some million people, that's what they claim. We don't know if it's real. Did we do a census? Literally, did we do a census? Did you do a census? Are you a censor person? You can test it just by walking up and talking to people. That would mean that for every 100 people, how many people within that group would have heard that song? And you ask them, and a lot of them, if not all of them, would say, I never heard this song. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even never heard the name of the recording artist. I know. But let me tell you something. I'm convinced from my own history that I'm one of those recording artists that all it takes is one song. I have many of them released in the appropriate manner, that other people have their songs for years being released. Well, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to bring you to this question. You see, because when I was on the road, I heard that this person's pretty evil. I don't know if it's true or not. It's what I heard. I do know that I crossed paths with them in Cincinnati. I do know that the car that was used supposedly for their stage prop is a very huge visual. I'm going to be researching and doing research on people's lyrics in the future to see if I recognize any of my lyrics before I release the songs that were being used. I'm here to tell you that if you didn't know who he was on the television or on the radio, he wouldn't be playing in front of 15, 20,000 people at an arena. Okay? Understand that without the promotion that a lot of people get, a lot of people would not even be in existence in their careers. You know, the mega recording artist of all time. How do you get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I'll tell you how. Somebody puts you there. How does somebody go to the top of the charts? Somebody just puts it up there, and then the rest of the people who are viewing it, which most people don't care about stuff like that, but most of the people viewing it, we got special forces. Is that what it is? Don't know exactly what it is, but it looks like it might be something to do with officer. I never realized it as much as I do now, that when I do videos, I most certainly have noticed that there are officers on duty throughout the city. Here's the thing, check this out. I'm here to tell you that they can promote and make anybody an illusion that gives a viewer the idea that these people are potentially the best of the best. Just because you're seeing somebody on television, or you're seeing somebody with high view counts, know this, they might only be given that in very corrupted manners. They might. There may be a lot of corruption in order for that to happen. Think about this. Independent recording artist has major hit songs, very good looking, has something uniquely with today's becoming in the LGBT community. All of a sudden there's an outbreak of what? Major mainstream recording artist who is now reflecting and showing a lot of what that independent recording artist is doing in the privacy of their own life. Could it be because there's somebody watching Tracilyn, or the independent recording artist, I should say. Did I say Tracilyn? Whoops, I didn't mean me. It could be anybody. In other words, they're takers. People in general are takers, and then they take all of that, what that person has to offer, and then they apply it in the mainstreamers for whatever agenda and reasoning that they can claim. They want to grab a hold of the reins of the conscious way of thinking. How's that? Society as a whole. Which has some of its pros, there's no doubt about it, and there's a lot of cons in it, especially for the person who's going through it. How would you like to be used as a resource? Depends where you're at in your state of mind. And it depends on how wonderfully the universe rewards you for being used as a resource. Unfortunately, it is in the nature of humanity that we take and take and take and take from the land, take from the people. We take and we don't ever give back. That's nature of humanity, which is separate from the Spirit of God, which is in humanity. And maybe someday I could touch base with that. Nevertheless, let's get started with this. 2010. 2009, I'm going back and forth, escorting, because I'm homeless, I'm being asked to move, come back. This person, I call my daddy, had high expectations on me, seeming to get my life together appropriately, only I didn't know what to do, Daddy. What do? I don't know what to do. And it really upsets me because this is a person that's involved in the community of, trans. And the bottom line is this. It's absolutely ridiculously absurd after hearing all the stories that he did to expect that I'm going to be above and beyond what the masses and the higher percentage of trans people go through, which is total rejection from society, which is very difficult getting employment, navigating their way through life. Really quick, here's a historic journey of trans. Just about 25 years ago, before I came out in 2007, I was told that transsexuals used to be locked up in mental institutions declared to be crazy. Why? Because they identify as women. Let me tell you something. It's not because they were crazy. It's because they were trying to conform society to a generalized idea of what they think society, humans should conform to. If you ever see a whole lot of people in uniform, they look almost identical, well, guess what? That would be awful if we all had to live like that all the time. Don't be so surprised that there aren't a group of people who really wanted to grab the reins on that and eliminate a transsexual's life existence is pretty much a demonstration and showing of simply like a leaf off of a tree falling to the ground. Transitional. We're transitional existences. The thing is when you're transitioning from male to female or female to male in the open, you are just much like that leaf. You're transitioning. We're transitional existences. We never die. We become life all around. We become life. We live forever. We're transitional existences, folks. And for whatever reason, in order to control people's way of acknowledgement, that's why they have you planning for death. Why? Can't they at least give somebody a plot? I don't want to get too much into the details of this. Someday, there's another subject. We are transitional existences, folks. And whenever you think there's death, well, guess what? That's all you think about. I know this because I suffered from major depression, and that's all I could think about is I wished I was dead. I wished I was dead. I wished I was dead. I went above and beyond and came close to it many times. Anything from holding a knife to my wrist already when I first came out, to standing on the George Washington Bridge several times, even once being taken off of the bridge by police officers. Thank you, officers. It was a very kind act. Back of the squad car I went with very kind officer. From New York or New Jersey, actually. Now, here's the thing. Check this out. What I'm saying is I don't want to focus on that too much because that's not what this video is about. But it's important for me to inform you of that. If you're out there and you're thinking death thoughts, stop. You want to live. The truth of who you are in here, you want to live. You don't want to die. Nobody wants to die. And the truth of who you are knows that you never do die. It's impossible. You transition. And man, there's all kinds of cool ways to, if I could get my hands on technology, like a mad scientist in a lab coat. Kind of like a round something, like a gypsy would use. With a whole lot of words funneling around. We could pull one out, just like at bingo. Did you ever do that? Well, there you go. That's how our heads can be at times. But there is a solid us in there. And it knows ourselves very well, and it wants us to choose in the favor of that life, not the lives of everyone else. Okay? wants to choose in favor of life in general. Be careful with what I say. I may be delusional at this time. And here's the thing, check this out. Here's the thing. So, I always knew I needed finances. I'm tired of escorting. I don't want to do that anymore. It's not even so much the occupation, because I love to be with men, especially when it's within what I enjoy. Okay, here's are all my likes, gentlemen. Someday I'll write them out. Here's all of my likes, and here's not what I'm about. Let's focus on my likes. Now you tell me your likes, and we can circle what we like. And maybe when we get together to kiss, rub noses, we can laugh and say, thank goodness for likes. And recognizing our likes. If you ever want to have fun, get with somebody, no matter what it is. If it's going to go do something for today, or for the week, or for the rest of your life, or intimacy. Each party involved, however many, each party involved, write down what you like. Now, as you go through, it's probably better to somehow keep them in an orderly fashion, that you don't have too many of them. Maybe write down 10 likes. Maybe write down 5 likes, 20 likes, depending on how long of a duration you want to focus on those likes. Be completely honest what you like. And then you and your partner or friends can circle what you all have in common, written down. Now, do yourself all a favor and focus on those likes and engage. And only focus on those likes. Save the other likes maybe for another engagement with others. You know, you may find somebody pulling you and saying, you're going to focus on those likes with me. I'll deal with it, whether I like them or not. You know, you never know. You never know. Okay? Funny how life could turn out if we were just simply, maybe we were taught some of this, like in 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade, and we lost it along the way. Okay, maybe we should be videotaping everything through our life, and then we can go back and check it out, just by typing in a text or something. Now here's the thing, check this out, search box. Now here's the thing, check this out. I was bedridden, I was depressed. I knew that time's coming up. I was trying to get involved in the church. The guy said what he said, the pastor said, I don't want to repeat it. He said what he said, I couldn't do what I wanted to do there. I'm feeling led into a rock and roll ministry. I do not want to play bar rooms, okay? I'm going to be doing a subject on that really soon. I don't want to play bar rooms. Bear with me and hear my testimony in the future coming up. I don't want to play bar rooms. I don't want to go back to an old way of life I wasn't happy with. Not in any area of my life. With that being said, I need work. I tried and I applied at over 30-some places in less than a month and a half's time, trying to get work out here in Dayton, Ohio. I need a job now. Why? Because I can't let this psychopathic lunatic keep taking care of my financial needs, my housing needs, my food needs. All of my needs are placed onto one person. Let me tell you something. If you're in that situation, start planning to find other means. Start writing down other ways to get your help, because when you put all of your eggs in one basket, in other words, one person you have to keep going to get your needs met, you shouldn't need the approval of somebody else to get your needs met. You got the approval of God. You don't need approval of one person telling you whether you can have it or not. You want out of that relationship as soon as possible if they're using power over you. I know exactly what that's like because my daddy used power. He knew that he had, what? He was helping me in many areas of life. And if I didn't give him exactly what he wanted, when he wanted it, how he wanted it, and I'm not talking about sex, I'm talking about in general, in life, if he wanted me to do something, and I didn't want to do it, it wasn't in alignment with who I am, well, guess what? Move. Move, Tracilyn, move. Well, there goes my finances, there goes my housing, there goes my food, there goes everything. And I can't keep carrying my possessions on my back everywhere I go. I don't want to be homeless. Well, Joyce Myers, what do we do about this? For starters, you turn off Joyce Myers. I reached out to her ministry. I reached out to other people's ministry. I need help here, real help. I'm holding on by fine threads. I don't know what to do. I'm going to tell you right now what to do. You go get a social worker at your local county, right? County office. You need a social worker. You get a psychologist. You go into the mental hospital. You tell them they have to diagnose you with something. What's wrong with you mentally? Are you suffering from extreme high levels of depression? Do you have a serious personality disorder? What is going on? You need assistance. And let me tell you, the assistance they offer is okay, but it's not generous by any means. Did you see how expensive it is to eat in here? Real food? Even at Walmart? We're gonna touch base with that. They want you to shut your mouth and learn to be thankful. You're thankful when things start being made right, Joyce Myers. That's when you become thankful. You start to become thankful as things are being made right in your life. This psychopath, every single time I did something I wanted to do that was therapeutic to me, my old way of life, I lost everything I love to do. I used to love laying in the sun. It's relaxing. It helps me with my pores, my skin rash. I don't need to explain the details, folks. Certain lotions, certain potions, certain detergents that I use for my body, I can no longer use. I have to use what is being provided for me. Now think how I feel about that. Why should I use what somebody else wants me to use and says is okay to use? I want to use what I want to use. It was not a fun place to be. Not to mention everybody in the house was being pre-programmed on Tracilyn. That everything's wrong with me. Do you understand? I used to play in front of thousands of people knew who I was in Pennsylvania before I transitioned. I was on the radio, television commercials, all that stuff. Okay? I transitioned. I didn't, not all those people rejected me. I lost touch with all of that because I wanted out of the music business. I wasn't getting out of it what I truly wanted. And I will not go back to doing it the way I don't want to do it. I get what I want this time, Donald Trump. I want you to come to Dayton, Ohio, Donald Trump, so I can speak to you in front of the American people and let you know that a lot of what you used for your election was very much so in alignment with what I went through in life. Seems to me, whether you're rich or poor, if you're an elder or a youngster, seems like we all have similarities, don't we? One's from New York City and the other one's from a small Midwestern big town, Dayton, Ohio. How you doing? I'm sorry. I am making a YouTube tutorial. Yeah.
I just wanted to keep doing a outro.
Okay. Thank you. Have a nice day. Oh, sharp-dressed man. I like that. Let me tell you something. Tracilyn likes what Tracilyn likes. And there's no reason to explain it. You have to be in my way of thinking to acknowledge it. See, I know I'm meant to be with a different class. And I don't mean what you think I mean. It's a whole nother way of thinking. And it makes me turn into an animal. I am determined I'm going to receive it in this life. And it's going to be because of intelligence, not trusting a Santa Claus out there. And despite what a pastor may say from Houston, you don't want no God leaping you no 20 years. You want to learn the details because that's what matters. And you don't want to miss a thing, says Steven Tyler. Is he going to get me for copyright infringement? Good. I'd love to see you in court. Wouldn't that be funny? Tracilyn uses one of the songs like Don't Want to Miss a Thing in my videos. It ends up in a court case. I would say make sure Steven Tyler's there. Why is that? Because I want to say in front of the court exactly what I feel about people like him who've been around for as many years as he has been. Why I'm still listening to the same song on a radio 20 years later when I have many, many, many songs that, in my opinion, especially a high percentage rather than not, are much more up with the times. If only in my head. See, that's the way that you should feel about your music if you're a writer. Your music is the best. That's the way you gotta feel. You gotta have a new outlook on yourself. You have to acknowledge you don't want to hurt other people. Who wants to? In the spirit of Jesus Christ, you don't want to hurt other people. But whatever happened to the day of acknowledging we can speak freely? Whatever we want to say. We don't want to purposely hurt. I don't want to hurt people. Do you think I want to hurt Steven Tyler? No. What I'm saying is Steven Tyler has been around long enough in the commercial, on the radio, on the television, domain, CDs in the store. Let's clear out all, I'm telling you, let's clear out all of Aerosmith, Bon Jovi. Is there any Poison? How many of these people have been here in the retail store? We ought to go look today and see how many of them are still in a retail. Why isn't Tracilyn in Walmart? My CD, why isn't my CD on the shelf, Walmart? I got something to offer that's way better than what was done 30 years ago, 20 years ago. And when they say let the American people decide, know that they're going to use illusions to make you convinced different. You got to get rid of the illusions. See, putting a billboard at the top of the charts is an agenda. They're put whoever they want there. They play whoever they want on the radio for their reasons. Now, what we can do is we can find out from Walmart, why isn't Tracilyn CD being sold here? Why is it not, what? Let me tell you something, online? Be very careful. That's an illusion too. There are people, it's not just the entertainment industry, there are people who want to dominantly control what music, what books, literature, video, content gets put into American culture, period, gets put out there, period, in the world. They want to oppress it, they want to make it go away. I don't want to make Aerosmith go away. I'm just saying, you know what, maybe I wouldn't be so upset if I wouldn't walk into a truck stop and hear Tim McGraw on the frickin' radio all these years later when I was down in Nashville with major hit songs. And guess what? Hey Tim, why didn't you sing one of my songs? Do you know anybody in mainstream country music that could sing somebody's song who's going through a hard time, Tim? Timothy. Seriously. And then you want to knock their hat off their head. Why would you want to do that, Tracilyn? Why would you want to knock Tim McGraw's hat off of his head? I'll tell you why. Because I'm sick of hearing him on the radio. He's no more special than anybody else in this world. Why is he better and more worthy of what? Go check out his house. If you support people in country music, recording artists, Garth Brooks, Shania Twain, all these people, go look at their houses. No, seriously, their real house, go look at it. Now, compare it to what you have in your life. Why are you supporting them? They don't need your support, they already have enough. Why don't you support somebody who's living in your local neighborhood? Why don't you support somebody who has a life similar to yours? Have you ever thought of that? Have you ever thought that your brain is under the influence not of alcohol or drugs, but of an illusion of BS? That whoever it is down in Nashville, Tennessee is more talented than you or me? They're not. And if you're still seeing high ticket prices, know this. Have you seen what the average minimum wage salary is today yet? Why are you paying hundreds of dollars to go see these rock stars in concert? Are they worth it? No, they're not. Until now, until recently, most of their stage performances were quite dull. It's a 4, 5, 6, 7-piece band on stage playing their songs. Well, why aren't we getting paid, Tracilyn, to stand on stage and sing our songs? Why don't we have 20,000 or 15,000 people show up in an arena and sing our songs for over $100 a ticket price? Add up the math, folks. No, they don't get all the finances. There's a lot of expenses. What makes them more worthy of standing there like that? Nothing. Nothing does. And let me tell you something. Just like I know myself, most of them, if not all of them, are concerned about personal image. Okay, why is that? Because they carefully orchestrate their image in a manner that it's most attractive and appealing to the masses at large. And therefore, if somebody comes along and mentions about things or talks about things, right, they don't want certain information getting out there because guess what? Then all of a sudden, it could start a whirlwind of things, maybe an illusion of BS, that ends up hurting their image. And can I tell you, for anybody who's out there living for an image, know this, that if we were created in God's image, and there is no image of God, know that we are thoughts in a head. And here's the thing. We have nothing to worry about, so long as we're being true to ourselves. However, when we have more people being concerned for their whole entire existence of an image to somebody who acknowledges differently, and it took me years to do this, by the way, it becomes hilarious, hysterical. I'm free from all that. No image. I'm Tracilyn. I serve my name. And I can't serve my name without Jesus Christ in it. And how it looks to everybody is uniquely different. If the American people really understood with a presentation that I could offer, for if I just had the appropriate resources. Equality. Where's a recording artist that's been around for 20, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, that has the stage, everything necessary? Not their musicians. Musicians of my selection. I can show you in a demonstration that if I had the financial backup and I had the resources in a manner like some of these recording artists, guess what? I would show you that I alone am just as worthy, and so is all the people sharing the experience with me. There's guitar players in this world, there's bass players, drummers, there's keyboard players, there's backup singers who would love to do something with their life, something fun. They like to sing, they like to play. Well, guess what? I'm the exact same way. And I go crazy because I just wanted to be a guitar personality. That's it, like some of the greats years ago. For me, it was Jakey E. Lee. For me, it was Randy Rhoads. For me, it was Richie Sambora. For me, it was the guys in Whitesnake. I don't even know their names. Too many to list. Agnes Young. There was a whole lot of guitar players. Every guitar player that was in the magazine was pretty much hung on my wall. And here's the thing, I just want to be a guitar personality because they made playing guitar was cool. It was sexy. It was fun. That's what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, long story short, that's not what this video is about. Tracilyn, through the years, ended up, if you want it that bad, if you want it that bad, if you want it that bad, write your own songs, formulate and use your body, your singing voice, all of that to the best of your ability. How bad do you want it? How true is it for you? And let me tell you something, it didn't come along as easily as I would have liked to, and maybe some other people have explained it came quite easy for me. Well, I guess it did in a sense. I was hurt, I was wounded, going through all kinds of things. I was bedridden. I'm seeking for this God, this God, this God, this God. Help me, God, help me. I was playing on a regular basis. I was in papers. I was doing all these things that I wanted to do. Why am I not happy? Because you were doing a lot of it wrong, Tracilyn. That's why I can recognize right away when somebody says, why don't you go play a bar room? I say no. Maybe sometime. That's not what I want to do with my life, okay? Maybe I'll surprise some people at a bar room in Lancaster County when I'm on the road touring and playing. Maybe the public PA system, for corporate America, will announce Tracilyn will be playing this facility. You used to know her as Todd Michael. That's right. Hi. For anybody who just found this, I am Todd Michael. No, I'm not. Actually, I am Todd Michael gone transition to Tracilyn Michael. Todd Michael is the name my mother gave me at birth. And I used to be known in Pennsylvania, Maryland, New Jersey, Delaware as an acoustic music entertainer. That's the way I promoted myself. Songwriter, becoming. Be careful, I'm Tracilyn. Always remember that. Okay. And I'm not embarrassed or, afraid to share anything of my past. What I realize is people in the entertainment industry want you to shh about your past because they want to try to use it to try to destroy you in the future. Or to just play mind games with you. If it's one thing that you got to get clear in your mind right now, know that the enemy is really people who understand what works, what doesn't work, and that's usually you living a life of truth. And they set out to try to wreck lives. It's a shame. That's what they do. It makes them happy because they're discontent with themselves, most likely. That's how it started. Now they found something that contents them. It's like a video game. Now, bedridden, I applied for all these jobs. I got a few interviews. Same thing. I went up to an electric company up the road here on 75. I took one of these little block tests and stuff. I didn't do too good. We got to get inside. I'm going to start burning. There's no way to really plan for this. Well, I guess I could have planned for it. I could have just brought lotion along. I did not. I didn't think it was going to take this long. Once I start talking, I can't stop. But can I tell you, even with the blocks and stuff, mentally I can't. Look, if there were psychologists, if the government was watching this or anybody's watching it, I can't. What I've realized is I, Tracilyn, cannot conform to a worldly self. The worldly self is a name that my mother gave me at birth. A worldly self is a gender and a sexuality marker that was given to me on my birth certificate. And let me tell you, I have to live into this. They're telling me how I have to live my life. And I wasn't trained much in school for future occupational reasons, meaning how do I take care of myself now, high school? Well, you don't. You got to go to college. College could be an illusion for some people, and for other people, they say it's the greatest thing that ever happened. With that being said, not the answer for me. What I'm realizing is self-taught. But you got to know the basics on how to get into your own truth, and then it starts to develop. And some people may need schooling for whatever reason, but I realize a lot of the schooling is a distraction that was created. It was created as a distraction to give people a false sense of this is what is important and crucial in order to become whatever it is. Some of the most successful people in the world that I met personally, they were dropouts. They quit school. They knew what they wanted to do, and so they did it. Some of them graduated, but that was pretty much it. Some went to college and realized that's not what they want to do. In a lot of cases. where they were very successful. They found their happiness. Well, that's what I'm working on right now. Now, understand, in this household, I was being torn apart continuously. I had to post all these positive words of inspiration onto my bedroom wall. Why did you have to do that, Tracilyn? Because I needed someone, somehow, some way to say something nice to me once in a while, okay? Well, don't expect it from people. Especially people that you would not have originally chosen to be with in your life. Why? Because you would have made choices and most likely they wouldn't have been in your life. I came out here, remember, out of desperation. Okay, now how do I get out of this, Joyce? Well, get off my website. That's what she should have said, get off my website. Tracilyn, get off it now. Okay, all I can clarify is that the teachings, kind of like a rubber band, as my life was stretching out painfully, her words helped me to barely stay alive. Barely stay alive. I stank. It was horrible. And I had to put all these positive words all over my bedroom. They're God. Nobody else is going to say it, I'll say it. And I'll tell you, I'm the greatest worship leader in all the world. There's nobody in this generation like King David in Scripture that was after the heart of God. Look at that. I just told you. I'm convinced I'm the greatest. It doesn't matter what it looks like on the outside to other people. What matters is how do you see yourself? The greatest. I'm the greatest songwriter. I'll tell all Nashville right now. I'll outright the entire city. I have the most recognizable hit song, Ragtop Cadillac. I wrote that. Inspired to me by the 50s diner in Philadelphia. Actually, it was Furlong. I have major hit songs that I would have loved some of the recording artists down there to be kind and sing. Can you give a childhood their dream come true? Actually, no, they can't. They can't do it. They can't do whatever they want. There's a chokehold on everybody down there. They got to do what they're told to do. That's all they are. Most of them are just puppets. They don't do what they're told to do. Or, I mean, they don't do what they really want to do. Because it would appear much differently. I'm telling you that. I know that. Now, with that being said, no, I don't want that. In fact, I don't want anybody in corporate industry ever. And I would like to be able to have a law in effect called the Tracilyn Law, which is nobody in corporate sing my songs. No major mainstream recording artist, they never sing my songs. They're for me to sing, and the people who appreciate them and love them, which is many in the coming. See, them days are over with now. I remember when I met Bret Michaels, and I met Bret Michaels years ago when I was in the music industry and I was praying about getting out of it. And I'm telling you, not asking you, there's no doubt about it, the real God, not electronic harassment, my heart. After information I gathered, I went because people at my show who were mutual fans, if that's what you want to call them, friends, whatever, invited me to Pottsville. They wanted me to meet Bret Michaels. Why? Because they believed in my music. They believed in my music, and they said that they had the opportunity to meet Bret Michaels from Poison, and he was a very, very kind person. Okay? Very kind person. You should talk to him. We've already mentioned you. So here's the thing. Long story short, I did get to meet him because of the invitation. It took a while because I was playing out all the time. And one of the places I played at was similar to that which he was playing at, only a different area within the facility. Okay, he had band, I was doing acoustic. Now here's the thing, in short, a lot of bands played there. I never really had the time to just go out and meet people because I was working a lot. So I would stop a lot of times after my shows if something was in the area. I would go and network with other people whenever I had the chance to. Mainly because I was trying to get involved somehow. I found out that he supposedly had a recording company, his own studio, a studio. What could it be in your head? A studio where he records other artists. So he's working on side projects, helping other people, if you will, if that's what you want to call it, not call it. I call it that. Assisting other people in their endeavors. And the bottom line is, because I knew that, and it was in a warmer climate that it was suggested that he was, I thought, all right, I will go. Long story short, I spilled out my heart in a very small time, gave him a CD, and that was pretty much it. I'll talk about that again some other time. But what I'm saying is, people in the music industry, they're busy doing their own thing, lots of ideas, lots of projects they're working on, helping others, assisting others. They got their own endeavors. Can I tell you that I've reached out to many different people? They don't owe Tracilyn nothing. Okay? But I remember this, and I'm going to remember it for the rest of my life, especially when I stand on stage. And I'm going to say, there's how many people did I reach out to? Not their responsibility, is it? What do you think the crowd will reply? Not their responsibility. God had something greater for you, Tracilyn. That's right. That's what they're going to say. And it's right here tonight. See, if anybody would have assisted me at any given time prior to me acknowledging all the things I did, it could have gotten all kinds of ways, but the way it's going to turn out, which is more in alignment with the truth of who I am. My music, the songs I wrote, the life I've lived, the stories I have to share with you. And I realized I don't want to be sharing a stage with 80s people. A lot of that is because of this. I know they're not more worthy than I am to receive a paycheck, so I don't have to end up being homeless. So that I can have a nice car and a nice home and get to travel in a nice RV or a tour bus, have state-of-the-art equipment to record my music with. I should have my own money and be able to dress nicely. They're not the only ones worthy of this, and let me tell you, in my opinion, there's a lot of them, I won't give no names, in show business, they could use some dressing lessons, okay? If they've been in show business as long as they have, they should have been able to pick some of that up. I dress the way I dress, what about you? We dress the way we dress because we dress the way we dress, but here's the thing. I'm not just talking about clothing on the outside, okay? I'm not just talking about clothing. That's another subject we could touch base on. Write it down, Tracilyn. Dressing. What is dressing to somebody? So here we go. Anyway, I have nothing bad to say about him specifically unless I find out that for whatever reason he has ever used any of my material. That's it. If I ever found that out. If you ever heard my songs, Just You and Me, Hugs and Kisses, Only Spoken Words, This Is Who I Was Born to Be, Mr. Right Now, songs like that. If you ever heard that and you ever heard somebody like him, anybody, somebody like him in mainstream music, recording artists, doing my songs at the live performance, please let me know. Especially if you captured it on video. And then I'll show you what we do with stuff like that. Okay? A lot of these people want you to be scared to talk about stuff. I'm not. This is very serious to me. My life depended on somebody helping me out. Okay? Not necessarily Brett Michaels. Somebody. And I've learned that a lot of it is an illusion of a lot of bullshit. Which, in my head, makes me more confident because I know who I am in Christ, Jesus Christ. If any rock and rollers ever told you they made a deal with the devil, I hope hope they're looking at you right now and they're telling you we made it right with Christ. Because let me tell you something. Whenever you make a deal with the devil, you go against the true heart of who you are. What does that look like to a Christian? Somebody who believes in Jesus Christ and knows the answer? That's right. You don't want to make no deals with nobody. God has already given you a seal of approval. God approves of you. Whoever you are, all of them. Brett Michaels too. In fact, I told him that. I said, God has a great plan for your life, Brett. You're going to be on TV again, and the music that you do and whatever gets done through you is going to be even greater than the years before. In other words, I was a messenger to him to build him up, to lift him up. Whether he received it as that, I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. I don't want to know. It's none of my business. It was years ago. I want to let go of that stuff. But here's the thing. I'm going to share it. Because it's the truth as to what happened. Now, I was convinced, don't ask me why I felt that way. I didn't know. But I was not to meet him as a one-sided relationship. And all I ever did was tell him how great he was going to be. And some of you may say, absolutely, and the other people may say, what the heck were you thinking, Tracilyn? I know. See, that's how the minds of the masses of people are. We all have the freedom to think what we want. So I don't want to write too much about that right now. I'm going to be researching people like Bon Jovi, Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, Madonna, a lot of the mainstream recording artists that have been around for centuries, really. And the reason that I'm going to do this is because I know I was being used as a resource. I'm not going to say buy them or not buy them, but understand, if you look on Google Map, there's a good chance they have access to live video feeds. There's a good chance that we may have had a chip put in our forehead at birth. Has a microphone. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Can you hear me now? Maybe. Speak up. Okay, there we go. With that being said, I know without a shadow of a doubt with this electronic harassment, a lot of it is fairy tales of lack of information, of solid truth as to what it is. I'm convinced that NASA, while they've been flying up in outer space, has been putting satellites and stuff, various equipment up outside of the planet, and is using it on the people for various reasons. Some of it for observation, some of it for honing in, and there's all kinds of reasons. I have been used as a resource. And you can tell that by listening to my life story, and if you go back into 2010, and you hear the reasoning as to why, and I'm going to announce it very clearly, what I desire the most while living this worldly experience, if that's what you call it. Okay, it's coming. This is not it. Out of my desperation, knowing that the policy with Walmart is what? They do not discriminate. Can we clap? Yay! Yay, thank you, Walmart. They do not discriminate. You have a disability, gender identity, sexuality, gay, straight, black, white, whatever, heavy, skinny, tall, short. You can get a job at Walmart doing something. Can I ask you something? Why would you want to do that? Why? Don't, tell me, leave a comment. Why would you share with me why you would want to do that? Do you want to write a book? Not on Walmart, but you want to write a book. You want to write songs. It's a beautiful place to be to do it. There's a lot of things to observe in the process of it. Okay, there's good perception. There's, come on, Walmart. Let's stop slacking here. What's going on? Okay. There's very good, and there is not so good going on. Everywhere, even within ourselves. Don't take my word for anything. So would you not say, leave a comment right now. Isn't that wonderful that there is a retail store that will let pretty much anybody work here, as long as you follow guidelines. Stick within the policy. the dress code. Right. And Tracilyn, make sure that your skirt, your dress, let me see, I can't see, is below the knee. I can't do that, Walmart. Not dressed like this. You see, I like to show my butt. I can't do that, Walmart. I can because I need a job. Already now I gotta change how I am. What's wrong with me wearing a dress like this? It's presentable, it's casual, it's everyday wear, nobody's yelling at me. No cops came over to cite me for it. Why can't I wear something like this? Well, there's all kinds of reasons. Tracilyn, okay, give us a break, says Walmart. You got a break. I understand the reasoning to have some form of unity and dress code for various reasons. Number one, people recognize, you work here at Walmart, you're on staff. That's number one. Number two, what? Modest. A modest, even though you might be very vibrant personality, a modest presentation can keep people away, like the gentleman who hit on me when I was working produce at one of my first jobs at a market. You know, and he kept flirting around with me. It wasn't because of the way I was dressed, but he saw what he wanted. I wasn't ready for it yet, mister. I didn't know about my sexuality challenge, but thank you for giving me a memorable moment where I questioned myself. Why do I want to go out with him? Why do I want to go out to the parking lot and talk to him at his car? Why do you think that is? Why do I like it on the other role rather than trying to be a man? What we're taught is a man, by the way. Might not necessarily even be. Oh, that's all. How did it come to be? I don't know. That's a whole nother subject. This is a man, this is a woman. There is no difference. There's a whole lot of variances. So, with that being said, self-acceptance. As soon as we can get there, we might be going through some challenges, but it's going to be a lot more rewarding if we can find a way, Donald Trump, to remain alive and safe. So here's the thing. I thought back to the time that I thought, if I were to live in the Midwest, and that's something that I was thinking of for a long time, living in the Midwest, just for a different life. I originally wanted to move to like Hollywood, you know, mainly because a lot of what is dominantly was in my mind. So visit Hollywood, yes, and if there's real reason in the form of finances, if there's real reasons for me to be there, then I want to be there. If there's not, there's no need to be there. Dayton, Ohio, and around the local area has beautiful lakes, it has rivers. Although they may be referred to as muddy water, know that they also have beautiful scene. Beautiful scene. Beautiful scene. And they have swimming pools. There's water. Okay, I'm starting to burn a little bit, so we're gonna go over here, turn on the car. I just want to see if we can make it to this sign quickly. So understand, I'm filling out all these applications. I'm reaching out, personal assistance. Do you think anybody in Hollywood needs a personal assistant? Las Vegas, live in? How could I get all my needs met while also having a fun life? Do you have a sports car I can drive? Run some errands for you? Do you want me to wear something exotic and playful? I'll be the limousine driver, or I'll pretend. How about I be your date to the Grammy? That would be fun, wouldn't it? Imagine going with somebody big and strong. You want to go with me, Tracilyn, to pick up my Grammy? How about we pretend it would be a lot of fun? We could laugh. Show up in our Ferrari. Huh? Watch when we get out on the red carpet and Tracilyn stumbles. Sorry, sweetheart. Can we turn it into a comedy act? Here they come again, says Lisa. That's how they are. That's how they are. First names only. Figure it out. Okay, so check it out. We're going to run over here. Whew! It is really hot out today. Tracilyn does not want to get sunburned. I have been wanting to enjoy my summer. Right now I got sweat running down my butt, my legs, between my toes. In other words, I may need another bath when I get home. I may stink. And a lot of that is because the food I have been eating. Yes, body scents, body odors has a lot to do with the food that we put into our system, folks. I learned this as an escort, if I didn't learn it any other way. My girlfriend used to, years ago, teenage years, used to taste like macaroni and cheese because she ate it all the time. You know what I'm talking about. Now check this out. Whew. Okay, here we go. Look how beautiful this wall is. How about putting that wall by the Mexican border, Mr. Trump? And you can stand right up top there and address both the American people and the Mexicans. Let this wall not come between us. Ooh, wouldn't that be great? A very memorable address by the president. Let not this wall come between us. York Commons, Butler Township. Ta-dam! It's a beautiful wall, isn't it? There's a lot of beautiful landscape here in Ohio. I'm looking, right here's on the Commerce Center. York Commons. Right on the corner. Look how beautiful this is. I gotta be honest with you. I wish I could afford to visit some of these places, but I can't. So I don't. And there's really no reason, seriously, I guess, at this time, except for maybe the nail spa. Do it yourself. Subway. You like the subway? Beautiful flowers over here. Fire hydrant. That's for the dogs in the neighborhood. We want them to have a good time when visiting. Now check this out. Beautiful trees. I love trees. Very much. Water again. Hooray! This would be a nice place. I wonder if Walmart would mind if I'd lay out a blanket in my bikini and get a tan here at Walmart. What do you think they would do? Do you think they'd be upset? I don't know. I hope not. Just over here. It'd be fun to do. See, when I see a landscape like this, I think of what would Tracilyn like to do while she's here. Well, there you go. I think, how about a picnic by the water? Do we have a picnic? Maybe when Tracilyn's out on the road with the band or whatever and they want to do whatever they want to do, they need to go into Walmart to get stuff, right, Walmart? We're still stop by once in a while. We need food, we need whatever we need while we're on the road. And Tracilyn can come over by the goose poop and squat down in the shade. Oh, there we go. In the shade. Let's go under the tree. We're looking for that spot that me and maybe somebody sweet. I'll be over here in the shade. If anybody wants to come hang out. Maybe writing a new hit song. What do you think? Maybe practicing with somebody because we're ready to get on the radio station. And we're going to sing together. Imagine a life like that. Sharing life with somebody who appreciates you. Your desire to strive to be a godly person, Christ-like, and somebody who loves your music. And maybe you're not the most talented person in the world, but you just really have a love for life for it. That's what I'm hoping in the future, and I say the 50s are going to be the best decade of my life. I want to get out all the toxins in my heart so that when I'm with people in the future, I can really be the best that I can be. I don't want my past coming back and not haunting me, not that. I don't mind that stuff if it comes back. Well, you said this, and I know. Yeah, may there be forgiveness. Here's the thing. No, seriously, I don't feel that my future relationships, unless they ask, I don't feel that they should most certainly be the punching bag for things I've been through in the past with other relationships. A lot of it was my lack of intelligence and awareness of knowing I want a relationship with Christ. And Christ is in everybody, and if I stay focused on Christ, it makes it a little bit more enjoyable and a little bit more, in fact, it makes it really easy, depending on where you're thinking. Let's see if I can sit here without staining my dress. Okay. So, I needed a job. I couldn't get a job online. I couldn't be somebody's personal assistant. I wanted many times since I came out here in Ohio, I really wanted to relocate. Originally, I told you I wanted to move to Columbus, and the reason why is there's a huge transsexual LGBT community there. Okay, I already researched this as an escort. There's different cities, if you look up some of the most gayest places in America, well, maybe somebody pre-wrote that so it would become true. But I know there's one down in Florida, California, San Francisco. There's Yellow Springs, there's Columbus, and there's a few other ones in New York. With that being said, Philadelphia, you know, it's pretty much the major cities. There's going to be some kind of support more in a bigger city than there would out. Okay. I made it this far, and can I tell you that I was through with doing music as a business. I was into ministerial work. So I created Tracilyn Ministries, a friend to pretend. I made brochures. I never followed through with a lot of stuff because I didn't have a plain direction, and I also wanted to have CDs. I couldn't connect with anybody to really record my music. I went down to Nashville because that was my dream, was to be the best songwriter that I could be. And, you know, I was influenced. I was under the influence. I want to talk about that too eventually. I'm hoping I can make it down to Tennessee and share my story with you. Now, this year, now check this out, maybe next year. Now or the year after. Eventually I will. Now here's the thing, check this out. What ended up happening is I got my first job was cleaning a bank, Right Pat Bank, there's like one or two of them in the local area. And the thing is I really tried to have the best attitude I could. The people that I worked for, the cleaning facility or janitorial contractor, can I tell you, they were very kind to me. However, the only work that I could get in the beginning, starting out as a new person, they want to make sure they can trust me. We're going into a bank to clean. You want to make sure that you can trust the person. The person's going to be responsible. The person's going to show up on time and follow through with their responsibilities. All of these things that are involved in making sure before you start moving your way up the ladder. Did you ever feel that way? You got to make your way up the ladder. I'm sorry if you're in that position. I believe that it's more of a manifestation out. That if we're doing life in alignment with the truth of our heart, it starts by first self-discovery of who we are, and then letting go of the things that are not in alignment with who we are up here and getting ready to embrace what it is, and then we experience growth, kind of like putting a seed in a field and watching the tree, the flower, the corn stalk, whatever it is, to grow. Okay, it's a growth process and it takes time. If anybody's teaching you that God might leap you 20 years, there's all kinds of fun fairy tale ways of analyzing and looking at things, but the truth of the matter is you want to be careful of the details. And you, in my opinion, I don't want to stop you from doing anything, but consider first making sure you're ready to leap 20 years in advance, if that's what they want to call it. And first you got to know yourself, in my opinion, to do that. Many people can argue that. So go ahead and comment, argue away, please. Now here's the thing. Sometimes it feels like, why are we even talking? You know? Does it matter? It matters to somebody, to yourself. Now here's the thing. I want to get through this really fast. I've been saying this. I only got one more clippy thing. I knew this was going to be a long tutorial. because I get started on different subjects and away you go. But it's actually supposed to be with me working at Walmart. It was the only job that I really had here. Okay. With that cleaning place, it was only for 45 minutes to an hour a day. What ended up happening is Walmart finally opened up. With Walmart, you have to have open availability. How do you feel about that? Don't you think that's a crock of shit? You got to have open availability. There is no you work day shift, second shift, third shift, things that we knew in the past. You have to be available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Crock of shit. By law, they should have to change that immediately. Now we already know Tracilyn has to give up her part-time job she had if I wanted to work at Walmart, because there would be conflict. They don't care. They're not here to assist you. They're here for their needs. Always know that. Walmart cares about their needs. The individual needs, that's your problem. Go work somewhere else. Right, Mr. and Mrs. Walmart, go work somewhere else. Why should we be really truly here to help the community and what their real needs are? Which is somebody who says what? You can not only work here part-time, but go work somewhere else part-time. We won't interfere with that. You don't need to be open and available 24 hours, 7 days a week. That's a crock of shit. People want to be able to work or do something, live a life that they can receive. The freedom is what you want so that you can put together the life more in alignment with your brain. Now, in most situations, a higher percentage than not, most people most likely do not want to work at Walmart. They need a job. So they go to Walmart. With Walmart's policy, let's face it, I had to quit the other job now. Why? Because it's going to interfere. No matter how, I got to be available 24 hours, 7 days a week to do the scheduling. How in the world can you live like that? You can't. Now you can't even make plans in your own life until you get your schedule for that week or 2 weeks. Okay, I'd have to look at my notes to make sure. Don't you think that's bullshit? Why don't people tell Walmart, Mr. and Mrs. Walmart, why isn't there laws that govern that say, you know what, you can't do that to the American people. People want to live their life. Well, some other people say, I don't mind it at all. It fits perfectly with my life. Okay, for me it did not. But I needed a job, really bad. So I had to quit my other job, and I told him I wanted to keep it because that little bit helped me, and I wanted to stay busy mentally, physically. I wanted to stay busy instead of laying around in bed depressed as ever because I can't get work that actually pays so I can form the life here. I want a home someday too. I don't want to be dependent on one psychopathic man, who I love, by the way. Now here's the thing, check this out, the Christ in him I love. I'll explain that. Now here's the thing. I remember when I was waiting or being interviewed by a female and a male, and I told them, I said, is it going to matter the fact, I thought it was very important that they know I'm a transsexual female. And the reason that I said that is because I faced a lot of problems and hassles along life's journey. Now, you heard about the gym? You heard of my life story? Walmart, can I please work here even though I'm a transsexual female? I use a female's bathroom. Can we forget what's the body part and focus where my mind's at? By the way, I have all these list of notes from medical doctors that say I identify more with the female body. What we call female. Gender. And their exact words were, you didn't have to tell us that. I would leave it in this room, basically, I'm not quoting them. Basically, leave it in this room and don't share it with anyone else. Live your life. You can be yourself. For the most part, that's what was said. So I was excited because, in my opinion, first let the people know on day one, I'm a transsexual. That's my opinion. I'm a transsexual female. I don't want to argue about this. I have all my legal documentations. Let's not, can we get past that point? Okay, why do I have to freaking keep outing myself like this? I'll tell you why, it's what's best for me. It's like dating a guy, you gotta know right up front. I'd rather them find out that I'm a transsexual and they already dated. Listen, if you wanna date me, Okay? And you have Italian blood in you? That's a good start. Are you intelligent? Do you have a mild sense of humor? Is that what people tell you? You have a nice sense of humor? It's gentle? You're good looking? You dress well? Do people tell you this? You have a really nice car. It's like a showroom, shine all the time. Are people telling you this? Chances are Tracilyn wants to get to know you. You know, I'll be honest with you. I want to get to know you. But I know this, I don't want to have sex right away because I'd rather see that we have things in common. If you show up in a Ferrari, for instance, I just realized this yesterday, 4.5 mil, there's a good chance we got something in common that are through the law of attraction. I'll go for a ride if you're safe, you know, and you don't appear to be a psychopath upon arriving. I don't need to drive. I'm going to trust you by putting this 5-point harness around me. You know. Now here's the thing, check this out. That's what I'm realizing, to be honest with myself. See, I'm not for just anyone, but you have to acknowledge that yourself. What kind of people would you like to be around? Okay? What kind of people, would you date guys, girls? Would you just be friends with different people? Well, yeah. Okay? Don't ever let anybody beat you down and call you a user. You're materialistic. You appreciate beautiful things and beautiful people. And just because you're living wherever you're living at right now, maybe minimum wage job, you have an okay apartment, maybe it's a roach-infested place. Maybe there's a lot of reasons people consider you to be more trailer park trashy. Know this, in your mind you are who you believe you are. And you start taking steps and you make choices in favor of the life inside of you. It's not about using people. Who wants to really use people at the end of the day? Because there's no real reward in that if you're completely honest to yourself. But you can be honest and have a wonderful sense of humor and play with it. Because you might be surprised who buzzes around out of curiosity, because you're very open about it. And you tell people, especially guys or girls, because I'm learning I would date masculine energy in general. And I might be better off with a girlfriend, a very fun-spirited girlfriend, to share in life's passions with. Now here's the thing, check this out. So there's a V in the cloud, you see that? It's very mild, but it's there. Here's the thing. So I got the job, went home, I had to, already with very little money, I got to put myself together, their idea of clothing. I can't wear what I have. I mean, I think the first day or the first X amount of time while you're in training, you can kind of wear, you know, do they give you any kind of shirts? What do they do now? You know, I don't remember the details without going back over it too deep. But I remember that I did have to get myself slacks, long skirts or dresses, if you will, a skirt, long skirt, and you had to wear navy blue, which is okay because it's one of my favorites. Good choice, Walmart. Blue is very calming, very nice color. Look at the sky. It's freaking gorgeous. Mind you, something on The Simpsons. Is that it? You remember The Simpsons? Why is that still on? Am I a prude for bringing that up? Why is it still on? Be careful about falling into agreement with that cartoon. A lot of the actions that happen in cartoons, it's like Bugs Bunny years ago. Animals smacking each other over the head, doing all kinds of things, like Wile E. Coyote and stuff, blowing things up. Can I tell you something? If we do that in real life, since we're imitators, if we do stuff like that in real life, we'd be arrested and put in jail immediately. Okay? Consider that. Why is there so much violence promoted on television? Well, let what they promote. Now, how about turning off the television and living real life? God has something great for you, rather than sitting around watching other people. Maybe God wanted you for a season, or wants us for a season, to see this idiocy that is permitted on television and the radio. And and then for a season of time, and then we acknowledge what we acknowledge through it, and away we go. Hopefully it's the kind of person that we don't want to be, or the kind of people that we do want to be. I learned a lot through the law of attraction of a lot of the transgenderedness and stuff that I become through the law of attraction. I formed my life, the spirit within the people. The television shows I watched, the cartoons I watched, a lot of that same energy is inside of me, okay? Inside of me up here. Now, knowing that Walmart was pretty easy with discrimination and stuff, meaning that they don't, I felt that I would be safe coming to Walmart. And can I tell you, I was always safe coming to Walmart. We all know about their security. They have cameras all over the place and stuff. And the only thing that I'm going to say about that is, I gotta be honest, I felt safe knowing that there was security there. That's it. Absolutely amazing people. I will not give away any kind of information with that, but I just want you to know that I used to think that when I worked here. I observed them as they observed others, including the staff. You're watched very closely because there's a lot of possessions, a lot of finances here. Okay? So you are being watched just as close as a customer for the possibilities of many. I felt kind of uneasy because I feel I'm a trustworthy person, but the nature in all of us is identical. We have to acknowledge that true. The nature of humanity is pretty much identical. It's the fruits of the spirit, which is the formation of words and intelligence, awareness, and all the other combination of stuff that forms us as an individual personality, which, who knows what could get us to do things. So what I've learned in life is to be careful about what you say you wouldn't do, because in certain circumstances you may find out that you would very well do stuff. And with that being said, I felt very safe working here, and I didn't feel like there was too much judgment as far as the employees at all. Okay, we came here, we went to work and stuff. Yeah, can I tell you that before I would go in, I would be at my car and I would take a very deep breath. And I would put thoughts in my head as I'm walking towards the Walmart that I'm going to be the best representative of Tracilyn that I can be while I'm here. Do you think I wanted to do this? I didn't want to do it. 2011, 2012, can I tell you, I learned a lot at Walmart, but I wish it was an occupation I would have never taken, because I realized that for me it was not a total waste of time, but it was pointless in many aspects of the direction I am now currently going, which is in surrendering to complete honesty. And if our government would have had a voucher for people in serious need, emergency situations, diagnosed by psychiatrists and a staff of therapists, get a local hotel, a safe one, get the best of everything, food, water, you need clothing, phone, whatever you need, social worker to help you get started on your healing adventure and getting your true needs met, including financial assistance, food assistance, housing, that it would appear to be much different. But whether this hurts anyone or not, or myself, I wish I would have never worked here. It was a year of my life that was raped from me. I would have rather been applying what I'd come to learn to do in 2013. I would have rather been applying that than going through a lot of the stuff I went through since I came out here, Donald Trump. Please come out to Dayton, Ohio and have a podium where people can actually speak, hopefully calmly and rationally, to the American people what they endured because of lack of true support where it counts, which is for life. Nobody should be homeless nowadays. Nobody should be homeless. There's no reason to be homeless. If they're homeless and it's a financial thing, Donald Trump, how about we start with all the political positions in order for them to be a servant, meaning they serve the American people for the American people and themselves, of course. The bottom line is this. How about we stop giving them all these wonderful benefits and finances to do their position, and they start doing it because they have heart. They do it for free because they care. Why should somebody in a political position have better health insurance than its citizens? Tell me that. I want to know that. You're not more worthy than I am. I guarantee you that. We all guarantee you that. And you're going to find out in the future that Tracilyn is for life. There's a big difference being for this or for that, but when you're for life, then you start taking care of matters that have been left go for many, many years. And you start seeing to it that we get the very best of everything. Why? Because we're worth it. We're here for life, to enjoy a beautiful life. And the children who are coming along with us, they want a beautiful life too. Well, guess what? We can really receive a beautiful life if people start pushing the pen and papers in the right direction for life. I gotta go get my other chip, then we gotta get on this, and we got to pause for a second. I didn't touch base with all this. We gotta do it now. So we'll keep on talking while we're here. We got 2 minutes, and then we're gonna go change the chip, okay? So if I end up here, into the car, we got 1 minute, then know that I am sorry for cutting off on you. But I'll be right back on. Watch. So I took a deep breath before entering, and I tried to have a grateful heart. Okay, I kept thanking God. I don't know how this is gonna work out, but can I tell you? I felt like it could be a great vehicle for me to transfer myself out of state. Like Nashville, Tennessee, so I could at least have something to look forward to when I got off of work. Being on a Nashville stage, networking with other songwriters, musicians, hopefully leading more towards a rock and roll ministry. Well, it's already rock and roll. Not the way I wanted it. So I mentioned about having to sacrifice my other job for the store. That's it. We're going back and we got to get the chip. Check this out. I will be in my car.